Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Piece 931 Osoba Mask. Now, first off, apologies for this being an incredibly late review. I think it was out 4 days ago, something like that, and that's because in these last 4 days, I've actually been in Iceland. For anyone who doesn't know, I was having a blast there, and that's the reason why this review is so late. Secondly, the Taizai review that I did prior to this review, it's absolutely racking up views for my channel, at least like 730 views at the moment. So thank you to everyone who's watched that, and if you did enjoy it, please make sure to check out Grim Reaper's review. Grim spelled Grimm. If you watch my videos, you'll most likely know who Grim is. Definitely check out his balls had on our views on the last Taizai chapter. So it's just me and him speaking about exactly what we enjoyed about last chapter and little things that we didn't like and things that we'd see coming up in the future. Definitely check that out. It'll tickle your taste buds and all that good shit. So this chapter of One Piece, fire chapter, absolutely amazing. I did have one issue with it, which we'll get to. Now, Sanji versus Page One. This is the first scene, and this fight was awesome, mainly because we finally got to see Sanji in his Germa 66 raid suit, and it did not disappoint. I actually thought it was awesome, and to begin with, Sanji decides to fight Page One in order to save the townspeople, who were calling out for Sanji once Page One showed up, because it was basically his fault that Page One showed up, and Law wouldn't have minded leaving the town to its fate, being a colder and more calculated individual and person in general. But Sanji is all about that compassion and empathy, which his mom kind of noticed was within him, and feels responsible for the people. And I like the fact that Sanji stayed true to his character and his mother's impression of him, even whilst wearing the Germa suit. Whereas like in other mangas and even in things like Taizai, we have kind of inconsistencies in character and stuff like that. So I love the fact that Oda, in this sense at least, keeps his characters mostly consistent. I can't remember a time where they were inconsistent. So Sanji's transformation was dope, being encompassed by that white liquid kind of thing with the Germa theme in the back, the theme tune in the back. I thought that was hilarious, and Usopp and Frankie are both going apeshit. Sanji suddenly appears on a nearby roof, with Law correctly identifying him as the third Germa commander, or one of the Germa warriors, Stealth Black. Now, it turns out that Law is a major otaku for the Warriors of the Sea Sora, or the Warrior of the Sea Sora, which is that marine / world government comic book about how this marine battles against the Germa 66, who are the villains of that story. And it turns out, Law is a major otaku for that. And my only question is, and this is how he knows their powers and which warriors are which in the Germa, by the way. So because of that, my only question is, why does this comic strip, The Warrior of the Sea Sora, detail the powers of the Germa commanders with their raid suits on? So within their raid suits, how does this comic depict that? Or how does this comic even know that these commanders have this variety of power? For instance, how does it know that Stealth Black had a stealth related power? And surely there's no way the Marines would know their exact powers. Also, if Sanji wasn't using his raid suit, which he wasn't, how did they know the powers of the third Germa commander, Stealth Black? It's not like, this is where I'm trying to get to. It's not like Germa designed their raid suits based off of the comics. And it's not like the Marines and world government would have known about the abilities being built into each suit, because the Germa wouldn't have told them. So I'm slightly confused here as to like which one came first. Was it the comics were based off the Germa 66, or the Germa 66 were based off the comics? Because then it's just really weird, and I don't understand how, even though they're comics, they're actually correct when they identify someone's power. And it turns out that Sanji does have that ability, and the number of the Germa in terms of their commanders, like Reiju and the four brothers, they always had 5 people and had one commander and stuff like that. How does the comic know these details and the world government haven't actively done something against the Germa 66? That might be because of their royalty and their kind of because of their royal stature and status. But I was confused about that, so let me know if you guys actually know the answer to that. Sanji looking straight flames though, with his hair casually spiked up at the front, a fringe covering his right eye and a mask covering his face, full Kakashi style. He and Page One then proceed to fight, with Sanji going invisible and landing the first hit, knocking Page One down. And Law explains this, saying that Stealth Black, which is Sanji, has the ability to blend into any environment, which ironically was one of Sanji's dreams before he found out about Absalom and his ingestion of the Suke no Mi or something. I forgot what it's called. Suki. I don't know what it's called, but the invisible fruit. And with this, Sanji has essentially accomplished one of his dreams and is much closer to his perverted goals than he was before. But yeah, really enjoyed the raid suit stuff. I thought the theme tune of the drama going on in the back was hilarious, and I didn't realize I'd be so hyped about seeing Sanji looking like a Power Ranger, but here we are, and I really enjoyed it. So page 1's hybrid form is the next thing I'm going to talk about. Page 1 assumes his hybrid form this chapter, showing us his page 1 tattoo, which actually starts on like his right bicep, I think, at the elbow, and then kind of diagonally stretches across his chest, stopping just short of his the left front deltoid. And for one thing, I think this confirms that page 1 is a dude. And another thing is that he looks menacing as fuck. A human-shaped Spinosaurus. That's so cool. Like, I'm not sure how many of you guys were interested in dinosaurs before you saw like X-Drake and stuff like that. But as a kid, I used to love dinosaurs, and not because of Jurassic Park, just in general. They were so unique, and to see page 1 in his kind of hybrid form is amazing. Major props to Oda for this one. I really think page 1 looks dope. I like also how his hair drops to one side, and it looks better in this state, in his hybrid form, than it does in his full dino form. In his full dino form, it looked a bit weird with having that hair, but because he kind of narrows up in his face, gets a little narrow and then wide at the top, the hair coming over the side looks awesome. So page 1 actually lands a shot on Sanji, thinking him dead, but vastly overestimating his own strength. While Law, Frankie, and Usopp disappear essentially, Sanji drops down on page 1 from above, continuing the fight. So that seems to be what they're going to do. They're just going to continue fighting. So then we have Robin and the ninjas. This scene got me real hyped, incredibly hyped, but real worried for Robin. So Robin goes wandering into a room within Orochi's castle, trying to find information on a poneglyph within inside of Wano. Suddenly the room is illuminated and filled with a group of ninjas known as the Oniwaban-shu. Now, for many of you, this may have just been a passing moment, like, oh shit, Robin's in a pickle. For me, I saw the Oniwaban and I shit myself. I saw the Oniwaban and I was like, oh my god. So some of you may know that I may have mentioned it previously, I don't know, in some video, but I've read an old manga called Rurouni Kenshin, or Samurai X. I think most people would know it as Rurouni Kenshin, which follows a roaming swordsman for the in the 11th year of the Meiji period, after the Bakumatsu, which was kind of like, I can't even describe what the Bakumatsu is. I think it was like this, it was a period of time where I think there was civil unrest, and he encounters this Rurouni Kenshin, this roaming swordsman. He encounters and fights a group of elite spies, i.e. ninjas, called the Oniwaban-shu, who were badass as fuck. You have someone called Hanya with the Hanya mask and stuff like that. You have Aoshi Shinamori and all that good stuff. This was giving me some tasty nostalgia for anyone who's aware of Rurouni Kenshin or Samurai X, whatever you refer to it as. You would definitely have realized who the Oniwaban-shu are, and you would have been as hyped as I was. Anyway, Robin gets caught creeping, and the leader of the Oniwaban-shu, some guy called Fukurokuju, I think it's Fukurokuju, gives Robin one chance to explain herself, and Robin best get good at lying real quick, because if not, she's going to be a major liability to the crew and to the plan, because the Oniwaban-shu are gonna definitely extract some sort of information out of her if they feel that she's lying. So then the next scene, which I've named Beached Whale, shows Okiku, Tama, Momonosuke, and Chopper. They run into an unconscious Big Mom who has washed ashore on the beach. I'm pretty sure it's a similar beach, maybe even the same beach that Luffy and company, or Luffy, arrived on right at the beginning of Wano. Chopper instantly recognizes her, with only Momonosuke realizing who she is after Chopper confirms who she is, and he realizes she's a threat out of the rest of the Wano trio. And I like the fact that Chopper instantly thought to kill her. I mean, like, correct decision and cold as fuck for someone like Chopper, you know. However, Big Mom awakens as he's planning to kill her, only she has no idea where she is nor who she is. And this was the one part of the chapter I did not like. Now, a lot of you may get on my case, a lot of you may agree with me. I don't know where this is going to go. I think people actually like this. There weren't many complaints I saw about this, but I personally have never been a big fan of the amnesia trope within anime and anything Japanese in general. They had this amnesia trope which is taking the piss out of in all these parody animes and mangas like Beelzebub and stuff like that. But I've never been a fan of the amnesia trope, but to see it taking place in Wano on Big Mom, I really don't like this at all. It feels cheap, and to be honest, this is another manga which I spoke about earlier. Ever since Nanatsu no Taizai, or the Seven Deadly Sins, rinsed the shit out of Amnesia with Diane multiple times with Gautha and her head injury and stuff like that. I have PTSD every time a manga takes this turn or takes the direction of adding amnesia to the story with any character, and added to the fact that I've never really liked the trope anyway, just because it seems gimmicky and cheap. I really don't like that, and I'm hoping Oda can take this and steer this in a direction which is meaningful, fun, and intriguing, and doesn't ruin the story. I feel like amnesia in any story is just really cheap. If Chopper like convinces Big Mom to go against Kaido, I feel like that'll just be a really, really poor way to move the story forward for One Piece. That's all I have on One Piece for today. Let me know what you guys thought of the story. Let me know what you guys thought of the chapter, this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow, when I should be releasing both Boku no Hero and the latest Taizai review. So I'll see you guys in a bit.